Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Sid Spooky, and today we are playing some Railroads Online. Most of you probably don't know what Railroads Online is, so very quickly, allow me to read the whole Wikipedia page on Railroads Online. Open world physics-based railroad simulation. Build and drive your own railroads, transport goods, invest in and upgrade your rolling stock and routes, multiplayer and single player. And that's literally it. That's all the Wikipedia page has. Over to the Steam page, build your dream railroad across a huge open world. You can build tracks and stations, drive detailed locomotives, transport goods to earn money and experience, play exciting online multiplayer sessions with your friends, or create your very own single-player sandbox. So I bought this game on sale. It's currently $35 on Steam. And if you're a huge nerd like me, it is quite enjoyable. Chill out, drive some trains, crash some trains. Just train. This is a great game for you. 10 out of 10 would train again. Basically, your goal is to get from this freight depot where you start to a bunch of different industries around the map. The industries are a logging camp that supplies logs and cordwood, a sawmill that takes those logs and turns them into beams and lumber, a smelter that takes cordwood and iron ore, turns them into rails and raw iron, an iron mine that takes beams and lumber and creates iron ore, coal mine that takes beams and rails and supplies coal in return, an ironworks that if you supply raw iron and coal, it creates steel pipes and tools, an oil field that if you give steel pipes, beams, and tools, it creates crude oil, and last but not least, a refinery that if you supply crude oil and steel pipe, it returns oil barrels. So the name of the game is to just get the raw materials, move them where they belong, create other raw materials to move to other industries, and by the end of the game, you're running oil barrels to your freight depot and making oodles of money. Very quickly, I'd like to mention that I am using a plugin while I play this. Anything you see that happens in this box right here on the left of the screen is the plugin. It just makes it so I can control trains from other places. I don't have to be driving them, change switches without being next to the switches. It gives me a better map view. That's all that does. If that's something you want to check out, the link for it is in the description. It is called Railroads Online Extended. Alright, with all the introduction out of the way, I'll fill you in on what I've been doing, or will be doing, as this video progresses. So I'm starting at the freight depot. At the freight depot is where you drop off loose goods you have. If you don't want to send them to an industry and you just want to sell them, you can bring them here. Also, if you buy any new trains, which we will go over the different trains and cars in a bit, but for now, this is where you purchase them and where they spawn at for you to pick up. So I have the main lines where we can drive through from one side of the map to the other. So if we needed to go through the freight depot without stopping, we can. We can also stop and unload. There's these two big Loopy Loops, so we can spin the train around without having to mess around with round tables or Ys or anything like that. Can just drive around a loop, which is very unrealistic, but it's how I prefer to do things. This is what we are currently building for the freight depot. In a moment, we'll jump over to the logging camp and we'll see how we put down the track. Here we are using the plugin to teleport to the logging camp. We'll start building out tracks for that. This one we are building right now is for loading up cordwood. So we run that down past the buildings, and then this side right here is the side for picking up logs. So run that to the end of the dock thing and get past this house. And then we'll go out. Usually I like to go 30 meters past the other track I'm trying to switch to. So I go about 40 meters out. And then actually I go a little further. I think I tried it and it didn't work. So another 40 meters out, then we throw down a switch so we can connect up our cordwood line to our log line. You can see on the plugin that I did try that once and it didn't. It looked like probably too sharp of a turn, so the map hasn't quite updated that. I deleted that track yet. This is why there's a little anomaly there. Alright, so on the other side, this was a little rough to build. I thought I had to go downhill here, so I'll be going downhill. and then like back uphill. So in the future I'm gonna redesign this, but for now this is what it will be for a little bit. Yeah, you can see me going down to 1% incline, which isn't a lot, but with this starter train, it's quite the incline. Oh, I went down to a 2.5. We ultimately have to redesign that, but here we go. Extending out a good 50-60 meters, more than that. Throw it on a switch to connect the other side of the logs up to the main line. So that way as we're coming in, we can decide if we want logs or cordwood. We can just throw the switch that takes us onto either track. See, I got rid of all the trees, and then we're just connecting up the line to the log side. Just like that, it's lined up. We gotta clear some trees, but that's pretty easy. So now we want to do our famous Loopdeloop. So I decided I kind of want to pass by this building here, just so I think it would be cool. So I lay down a little bit of track. You can see on the map I've already attempted this once and had to redesign. I think I already built half the loop that I didn't show, but you can see me connecting up to it here. Trying to make not too sharp of turns, because the current train we have can make some tight turns, but the bigger the trains get, the less they like to turn. I guess the sharper the turns will make them derail. So here we go, connecting that up. Now we have our sweet loop-de-loop, so we don't have to turn the train around. We can just keep on driving, and then we'll hook this up to the main line. So I had to do some weird stuff. This didn't want to connect because of the uphill, downhill, all around situation that we had going on. So this took a while, like a good 30 minutes to get this to not be on some stupid incline. But in the end, we got something that temporarily worked. And then, like I said, in the future, we will redesign it. In fact, I've already redesigned it. But here we go. We are leaving the cordwood and the logging camp, leaving it with a bridge that goes uphill, which is another problem that we ran into as to why we are redesigning. But we just make a nice line away from the cordwood toward the freight depot. We will stop a couple times to make some offshoots for the future. We'll make one offshoot, well, technically two offshoots to the smelter, kind of. One offshoot to the smelter, one offshoot that goes by the smelter, but then it goes down like a valley that takes you onto some other industries in the future. So just future proofing and putting those lines on. We're trying to get down this incline. I get stuck in a bridge. I only want to go down at a 1.5%. I didn't want anything too steep, so that's why it's taking so long. I think I ended up pushing it to a 2% at the last second just to get it to hurry up, because if you can see on the map there, I wanted to turn left into the smelter, or have an option to turn left into the smelter here. Here we go, throwing down that switch. Always picking the wrong switch and then picking the right switch the second time. Don't just use your brain and think about it. Just click one, hope it's the right one. And then continuing back on toward the freight depot. Here we go, throwing down another switch. This one will take us kind of past the smelter, down a little valley that takes us to, I believe, the ironworks is what's down there. I can't remember off the top of my head without looking at the map. A lot of industry. It also unlocks, like, that's the route you want to take to, like, the coal mine and the iron mine also. And there we go, all caught up to the freight depot. Here we go, just extending off our little offshoots to make them look a little better. Doesn't do anything other than it gives me something to run into if I go down the wrong lane. I'm also going through and chopping down all the trees, that's why I'm walking back. So I like to start off with a little bit of cheating. I quickly re-rail this engine so it's in front of this freight car. That way I don't have to do any weird track shenanigans to get it in front. Just saves me time, and I can't be bothered. I get the engine going with some logs. Luckily we did that before we started building, so it's already warm a bit. And then we pick up our first car, and then we start buying some more. So here we're quickly buying 6 more cars. Actually, we ended up buying 7 more cars. Because I already have 1. I don't like having an uneven number. Quickly ordering them. So we'll back up Betsy, which is the name of our current train, throwing down our connectors. What I like to do is put the connectors on the back. I turn off the brakes, the cars in the front. That way I can just reverse into them like this. Put the pin in, get to the back of that car, wait for it to hit the brakes on the train, and then put the pin in that one. And then here we go, just putting the pins on the backs. Making sure that brake is not set on the front. I always forget to turn the brakes off on the back, so I'll have to come back to a few of them and turn the brakes off. But now here I'm buying 1 more car just to put us at 8 total. That way we have an even number, so it's easier to fill up at the depots. Because you load 2 cars at a time at most industries. So here we go. Just kind of ghost riding the whip, letting it drive backward as we back into this 3rd car here. Putting our pin on. Boom. There's our pin in. And driving forward. I'm pretty sure I didn't turn the brake off. Let's get that brake turned off. There we go. Alright, hit that switch and reverse on back to the next set of cars. Hopefully one day this game, because it's still in alpha, they're still updating it, still adding things, changing things. Hopefully they make it where you can buy more than 6 cars at a time and be able to like get them lined up easier. Because right now you can only buy 6 and you have to buy them, or you have to move them to buy 6 more, which I guess really isn't that big of a deal, but there could be a quicker way, but who knows, they might be how they want it. More realistic, I guess. But as I was saying earlier, if you're into trains and you like a chill little game where you can just throw some rail down and drive around and just kind of zone out, do your thing, it's a fantastic game for that. At $30, honestly, I don't know how many hours I've put in this already. Let's take a look. I have gotten to the highest industry once, so the oil barrels, which is like kind of the end game. It was pretty recently, and I have put 235 hours in this game so far. I honestly, at $30, the price, I would say it's worth it. And they're constantly adding things, constantly changing things, doing improvements, adding more trains, adding more cars. I'm pretty sure they plan on adding more industries in the future. So if any of that strikes your fancy, then definitely give it a check out. Obviously, they're not paying me to say this. 1, I'm a tiny little YouTuber. They don't know I exist. And 2, I think that's my only point. It's a good game. No one has encouraged me to say this other than playing it and realizing it's a great game. But I am playing it with a plugin, so it's not completely true to the game. But if you don't need the plugin to play it, let's say that. When you do get to the point where you're using multiple trains in one train car, like you get 2 engines, then it gets a little tricky to play without the plugin. But if you have friends, unlike myself, then that's all you need, just to get a buddy to help you. We are currently driving away from the freight depot to the lumber mill. We're going to load up on logs, and then because we have no other lines set up, we're just going to bring the logs back to the freight depot and sell them for a little bit of money. We spent most of our money on these 8 cars, but it's just a little investment, making our lives a little better, one load at a time. So here on the right you can see that track there that is supposed to go to the smelter in the future. And here you can see me on that little mini-map. I'm flipping switches with the plugin. That is not part of the original game. Anything that happens in that little box in the left-hand corner is all the plugin. So anything else you see on the screen is the actual game. But I've gotten to the point where I rely on that plugin so much that without it, the game doesn't feel quite as complete. I would definitely recommend playing the game without it if you can, but if not, it is a great resource to have. and I'll put the link to that in the description, along with the link to the game if it's something you want to check out, put on your wish list, or learn more about. All those links will be in the description. So the bridge that I'm on right now, everything after this bridge up until like the actual loading zones, I do redo. Not in this episode, but I believe the next episode, because I've pre-recorded a few hours of this. I think I played for a good 4 hours. What you're seeing here is a good like 2 hours worth of building and then driving, so we've shortened it down to a good 23 minutes or so. It's definitely a good game where you can, like, basically how I play this is I watch multiple seasons of Taskmaster while playing this game. So it's a good thing to like binge a TV show to and just kind of play and chill in the background until you derail your train, and then all hell breaks loose and it ruins your day. Just kidding. It does. I have rage quit this game many a time. Hopefully I can put that on my like resume. First person to rage quit a train simulator. Probably not though. I'm sure there's plenty of dads out there that rage quit like Train Simulator 97 or something. Was there even a Train Simulator in 1997? Who knows? But we're headed up, or we're arriving at the logging camp. You can see me with the add-on switching over from the map view to the control view. That way I can control the train while I'm not driving the train. Hop out of the train, ghost ride that son of a gun, get up to the loading area. That way I can kind of line it up, make loading a little easier. Boom. And they just recently changed this, so you just have to click every single log that you wanted to load on. So, for instance, these guys take 6 logs, you have to click the thing 6 times, but now it's all automated, which is lovely. So you can just chill here and watch your train get loaded up, and it actually happens quite quickly compared to how it used to. It's a great change to the game that I definitely welcome from the devs. So here we go, we got those 2 cars loaded up. We're gonna scoot our car forward a little bit more, get it lined up to the next 2 cars, and repeat this process until the whole train is loaded, which takes quite a bit of time. This is why I said it's a great game to play with something, because you can watch Taskmaster, as I said, and just chill, and next thing you know, your train is completely loaded. So here's the last 2 logs going on. We are fully loaded, so we're gonna head back to the engine, hop back in that bad boy, fill it full of logs, and head off on our Loopy Loop. This thing, it takes quite a while to get back up to speed. It's very heavy for this little engine, but she can definitely do it. We do have a problem with our exit, because as we go over it, we built it so it goes downhill and then back uphill, and also has a sharp turn while it's going uphill, so we lose a lot of momentum, and that's the part that I rebuild later. But yeah, it could barely make it out of this industry, so I had to rebuild it, because eventually we want to add more cars to make this train longer, and if it's already struggling to get out of the depot, then it's not going to make it out with more weight. But yeah, look at this, we are barely chugging along here. I wish I had the speed limit, or the speed, our speedometer up, but I don't. I have the map view up. That's another lovely thing that plugin adds, is the speed limit, so you know if you're going too fast or not. Most trains go about 16 miles an hour, and if you go a little faster than that, especially around turns, you risk derailing, so that's why it's good to have. It's hard to tell just how fast you're going without it, unless you're crazy and can count the chuffs like old Heist can. We're playing the heck out of this in my spare time, and I, like I said, already have like the best trains and everything because I've played till the end game, and it's just so much different hopping back into this train. Yeah, this part right here of the track, this is going downhill, and then once you hit the bridge, it starts going uphill again, and also it's on a steep turn. So I did redo this part in the future, because as you can see, once we get to the end of this turn, we're going so slow. Like, it barely made it up here. If we had 2 more cars, it probably wouldn't have made it. So we wanted to just future-proof it a little bit. That is the goal, is to build track that I don't have to mess around with in the future. Make it so I build it once and then it's good to go. So that's why I built all this, just to make sure that future trains don't struggle. And that way we can make them longer and do more freight, because I don't know about you, but the longer the better. I like them long. Yeah, we're going, what, 6 miles an hour right now? Barely chugging along here. Luckily, this part is all downhill, so once we make it past here, we're good to go. We know we can make it the rest of the way. It's such a nice scenic route. I got rid of as many trees as I could around the curve just to make sure it looked nice and pretty as we went through this. Then here you can see me on the left on that plug-in, just setting all of our switches so that we go to the, I think in the end, wanted us to go to the left side of the freight depot. So that's what I'm doing there. And get back in a control view just so I can see what we're doing, because this is all downhill right here, so I have to actually turn the engine off. I turn the brake down, but then I turn it back up. I'm pretty sure I put it up at full blast here in a moment, because we're just going a little fast down this hill. And this isn't a roller coaster. We're not trying to re-rail, because I'm pretty sure re-railing costs money that we don't have at the moment. Yeah, here we go. 89% brake. Yep, so that left, if we were to turn to the left there, eventually that will take us to the, I don't even know what it's called, lumber mill or something? What is that called? The sawmill. That will turn our logs here into beams and lumber, so then we can take that down to the iron mine, the coal mine, and the oil field in the future. But for now, we're just taking these logs back to the freight depot. I think we get about $10 per log. Next episode, we are going to be building the track to the sawmill and then bringing some lumber from the logging camp down to the sawmill. Exciting. But every episode is going to be the next industry, so there'll only be, there's only 8 industries, so there'll probably only be about 10 or so videos of this. So if you enjoy it, definitely let me know. Give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I try to put out a video a week, but I work full time and I have a wife and a family that I also have to spend time with, so sometimes it gets put on the back burner, but I promise I will always be here. But yeah, if you guys like the Railroads Online, I know this was a little bit more explanatory, just telling you about the game, but that's because I assume most of you have not heard of it or even know what it's about. But hopefully it won't be as explainy next time, and we can have a little bit more fun. Here we are rolling back in at the freight depot with our fully loaded train. Gonna hit the switch here to go to the right side from where we're facing. And then I've let off the regulator, so we're just kind of coasting in. I'm gonna hit the brake here. I overshoot this by quite a bit. Almost afraid to start unloading, so I'm going way too fast, so I quickly throw the regulator on full blast in reverse to slow us down even more. Peak realism. I'm sure all of the train drivers do that. And I overshoot by 1, but that's okay. So here we go, starting on loading everything. You just kind of click on them and let them drop on the platform, and that's how you get money. So just quickly emptying our 8 cars of logs. What is 8 times 6 times 10? So in total, this whole train got us $480, which isn't a lot, but it is enough to buy one car. So we have enough money to buy 2 more cars, which is dope. Don't know if we'll do that next time, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy the Railroads content, be sure to let me know in the comments. If you guys have any cool things you want to see me do in Railroads, any challenges you want to see me do in Railroads, definitely drop them down in the comments. But I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!